Who's sniffing?
Leicester City have a penalty kick in the 6th minute of injury time.
Knockout takes, Almunia saves, knockout follows in, Almunia saves again.
And now Watford are on the counter-attack.
Forestieri.
Oh, I don't believe this.
Here's Hulk. Deeney!
I do not believe what I've just seen. Troy Deeney has scored from a Leicester penalty that was saved by Almunia.
Do not scratch your eyes. Do not scratch your eyes. Do not scratch your eyes.
Hello, and welcome to the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes podcast. I'm Justin.
I'm Carl.
And I'm Peter.
And the man with the golden voice is back, joining us from Swansea, Luke from Swanscast podcast. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me, as always. The same good. It's been a little bit under the weather the last week or so, so excuse my voice being a bit crackly, maybe. But yeah, I've had a bad throat, so. But I'm on the mend, so I'm happy to be here.
Never mind. Well, we've been. Twitter is having a funny day today, so we don't know whether or not everything's going out on Twitter or not. It's just reconnected and everything. Yeah, so never mind. However, it's not just Luke who's been under the weather, because it is that biannual post Millwall match. Is Carl still a live check-in? Because as we know, whenever we play Millwall, nothing to do with Millwall themselves, but Carlos, very much the Richard Hammond of the entire near-death experience part of Do Not Scratch Your Eyes, is you're feeling a bit run down.
I was nearly physically run down as well, Pete. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, no, I had a bit of a situation after the Millwall game in the Red Lion. Unfortunately, possibly a Watford supporter, but I'm unsure. But we'll leave that for now. But yeah, I've sustained another head injury by ejecting him out the pub and him treating me like a whoopee cushion and flattening me in Vicarage Road. So yeah, but I'm all right. I'm on the mend. Bit of a cut, bit bruised, but I'm still good looking. So that's the main thing.
Absolutely. The money shot has not been affected, if you'll excuse the expression. Right, well, let's get on and talk to our one of our favourite regulars is Luke, absolutely in charge of Do Not Scratch Your Eyes Wales, I would suggest. Sir, it's normally us who are talking about managerial change, but we did talk about Luke Williams and various things previously. Started off with Luke. He's gone out. For the last 3 games, Alan Sheehan has come in, and it looks like there has been some kind of discernible improvement, because in those last 3 games, he's got a win, a draw, and a win. And prior to that, a whole lot of red when we're looking at those the middle section of the last 15 games that presumably were what did for Mr. Williams there. Take us through the ups and downs so far of the season with the Swans.
Yeah, first of all, shout out to Ben who came in placing me last time. I think he did a cracking job, didn't he? But nice to be back myself. I do enjoy coming onto this one. Yeah, Luke Williams, I think ultimately you saw on that graphic there was a game against West Brom that was a draw, like early on in that bad form.
Yeah.
Well, and the two wins there, so QPR and Luton. After the Luton and QPR wins, we were really doing well. We had momentum. We were looking up the table. I was going on these things for other clubs, being asked, "Are we looking at playoffs? Is that realistic? Like, is that something that we think we can achieve this year with a good January window?" Because this was Christmas time. And ultimately, yeah, that's where we were. I think we were at the time maybe 4 points off playoffs or 3 points off playoffs or something, quite close. Yeah. We never really got over that bridge to get there, but we were one of the outside teams looking in with a realistic chance of second half of the season going well, considering how our January went, maybe.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden then, there was some media links to Luke Williams and West Brom, which he got asked about a few times and never really shut them down. He kind of openly entertained them, if anything, in a really weird way. He kind of suggested the club go and speak to his agent, or directed in the press. He was like, "Oh yeah, go speak to my agent if you want me," basically, in other words. That's what he said. I don't know, some of the press conferences hard to describe. You have to listen to them. They were odd. And it didn't go down well with Swansea fans. And I think it didn't really go down well with the squad either, because if you look at New Year's Day, we played Portsmouth away, if you pull that back up, and that was a 4-0 defeat on the back of that, right? Now, the context behind this 4-0 defeat, okay, sometimes you have a one-off, especially around Christmas time. You have some games where it just, write them off, whatever, forget about them.
Yeah.
That was our first game all season. Bear in mind now, this is halfway through the season. You played every team once. We had not lost a game by more than 1 goal all season. You go to Portsmouth away, New Year's Day, and we lost 4-0 directly after this speculation. Bit weird. West Brom's the next game. The speculation ramped up. By all accounts that week, he was gone. And I think West Brom pulled the plug. So from what I understand, and it's all hearsay, it's all speculation, right? So I'm not 100% saying this is what happened, but I have it on good accounts, and what happened afterwards seems to suggest maybe there is some in here. There was talks. He was on their list. He was high on their list. I think they were going to go in for him. It didn't go down too well with the West Brom fans. They didn't seem overly happy with that news. And also, Luke Williams seemed to jump the gun in regards to telling maybe the team around him, so his coaches and stuff, that he would bring with him, like, we're going to West Brom, this is happening, this, that, the other, before there was ever any contract or official agreement basically put in place. And I don't think the club liked that, and they kind of pulled out and left him with a bit of pie on his face. I think ultimately it was quite funny, because I think it was 2 days before we played them, there was like unison of a press release from, like, not proper press, but journalists on X and stuff that came out within the same hour. Reputable journalists from both clubs, all of a sudden, oh yeah, this isn't happening, they're going on to other targets. Do you know what I mean? Like, but all of a sudden the narrative just changed within an hour from these reputable sources. So that says to me there was clearly a big push to say, like, yeah, let's shut this down. This isn't happening. We want to try and save face in the press a little bit. And I think Luke Williams was left a little bit with egg on his face, and he had to come out and apologise to the fans for the way that he dealt with the questioning around going. He basically came out and said, look, I wasn't taking those questions seriously. I thought it was ridiculous. I was getting asked to go to to move on. Like, I haven't been here that long. I didn't think I was doing that good of a job, and I just thought it was a joke. So I just humoured it, and I think my humour came across the wrong way, ultimately, is what he was saying. But I don't know, I never bought it from day one. And the form that we went on after that, like, we lost to Cardiff in that form. It wasn't just losses. Like, Southampton was a cup game. That was, I think, 3-0. Cardiff 3-0. And that's a big derby match, yeah. To be fair, Sheffield United, we probably could have got something out of that game. We went 1-0 up and had some bad luck with a red card and a penalty that I think was a bit questionable, and the team rallied around it, but Sheffield scored 2 and got a win there. That was the best performance in that period, even though we didn't get a result. Even the draw against West Brom, we shouldn't have got a draw. It was like a last-minute header from Joe Allen, of all people, that stole a point. We didn't deserve that at all, just in the context of that game, considering he was linked to them before. Like, I think it was a bit of a weird one. And yeah, the other ones, Norwich was a bit of a drub-in. I think we were 1-1 at 60 minutes and ended up losing like 4 or 5-1.
Wow.
Like, just fell apart. And it was just weird, like, themes that were not there all season up to this point. The team just was falling apart. There was, I don't know, it just didn't seem to have a grip on it anymore. Whether he lost the dressing room or they got so frustrated with what had gone on. And obviously Matt Grimes left in the middle of that run as well, which probably didn't help.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's the reason, because the run started before he went, and I think that's important, because a lot of people, I think he got an easy excuse after Matt Grimes left to say, I wasn't backed in January, but ultimately that run happened in January, so you can't. Some of it was after like 2 games maybe before he got sacked. I think he got sacked on like the 13th of Feb.
Yeah,
but the window didn't close until like the 2nd of Feb or the 3rd of Feb, so you can't use that as an excuse for me. The rut had already started. It's probably an excuse now to say where our squad might finish the season, but we'd already started playing badly and fallen off a cliff before the window closed. So I don't personally buy that you can use that as an excuse. A little bit of a rant there.
It sounds hugely reminiscent to, I'm sure Carl and Justin know exactly what I'm going to say here, Marco Silva, when we had him and he came in and Everton were sniffing about, and suddenly we went from seeing some of the best football we've seen at Watford literally ever. I mean, in fairness, I thought we were outstanding under him at the start. And the moment his head was turned, and again, exactly as you said, he didn't come out and say, no, I don't want this. I've signed a contract or anything like that. It was all kind of, it was kind of come and get me, kind of stuff. And after a period, he also seemingly lost the dressing room, because if you're asking, for people to put, kind of to run through a wall for you, but they suspect you're going off, you're not going to get that discretionary effort that we saw so early on at the start. It was it was a sad thing to see. So, I mean, Sheehan has come in. What in terms of understanding about Alan Sheehan, what is his connection? Because he was already, I believe, at the club. And kind of how have everybody responded to him coming in? Because it's been 3 good results on the spin.
Yeah, I think he came in, don't quote me on this, I could be a little bit out of line, but I'm pretty sure he came in as a coach in the Michael Duff era, with that sort of time in that regime. I don't know if Duff brought him in. I think he was more brought in maybe by the board or some of the people behind, or part of the recruitment of a coaching team when Duff got brought in. And he took over when Duff got sacked as interim, and he had a decent time then. He had 1.5 points per game. I think it was at the 7 or 8 games that he had us for over Christmas last season, and longer than he thought. It was from like end of November to early January during the busy Christmas period, and he steadied the ship a bit then. So he was the obvious choice to come in as interim this time. And I don't know why there was a bit of skepticism before he kind of got given that role, but he's shown clearly that, well, whatever issues were there, I personally think it was, as soon as Luke Williams went, there was always going to be a bounce because of all of what I just described has gone on. I think there was a lot behind the scenes that might have been affecting the performances, and Luke Williams, towards the end of his time, looked like a man that didn't even want to be here. I was starting to question if he was trying to get sacked because you just didn't see some of the passion. Like, he looked like a different person to what he looked like, before any of the speculation, as if to say, like, how much more do I have to do before you pay me off? Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. Yeah, and obviously he wanted to go to West Brom. Clearly he wanted to go to West Brom. So I don't think it was the end of the world for him when he did end up moving on. But I think it's in hindsight easy to say we should have done it sooner and all that. But Alan Sheehan's come in and steadied the ship. And, there was question marks before we would go in. Are we going to be looking over our shoulder, a relegation battle? But I think 3 games he's had, and all of a sudden, I don't think anyone's asking that question anymore. And I think that just shows how good a job that he has done. But his connection to the club is just a coaching background, really. I think he's got Luton history, and our old sporting director, Paul Watson, had Luton history.
Well, that's the end of this conversation.
Yeah, I know you don't like to hear that, but a lot of fans were worried because Paul Watson was a very much disliked sporting director at Swansea. The big concern was there seemed to be a feeling that the board was bringing in some people around certain positions in the club, like higher up positions, run-in positions, to try and replicate Luton's success to rise to the Premier League, because they view it as being done cheaply, if that makes sense.
Oh, everything's done cheaply in Luton. That's an absolutely reasonable assumption to make.
The Swansea fans pride themselves on the Swansea way, and it doesn't go hand in hand, playing some sort of what they describe as hoof, boring defensive football, and you're trying to do it on the cheap and seeing that as a way to success. And a lot of fans viewed Sheehan as part of that model, I think, which perhaps is a bit unfair, right? Maybe. It's just stuff you hear behind the scenes that I think a lot of fans have bought into that you might not know the full story. And I think he's showing on the pitch now. He's getting some results and performances that I think he deserves a bit more time and a bit more credit to show what he can actually do and be capable of. And I think he has changed a lot of fans' opinions. I think when he came in last time after Michael Duff, there was a worry he was a bit defensive, played football a certain way that we didn't want to see. Yeah. But I think maybe not enough people realised how difficult it is to take over in some sort of transition. Ultimately, now he's steadied the ship. He's gone back to basics a bit, and you're just getting them playing football a bit more simplified, I think, than what they were trying to do under Luke Williams. And it was fine when it worked under Luke Williams, but when it stopped working, he just was never going to turn it round unless he changed something. And ultimately, that's kind of what has happened now. So we might not always get the high possession now. Doesn't mean we've ditched the passing game, but it's not like, let's make sure we have a passing game first and then win the game. It's like, we'll win the game how we can win the game now. And I think that's what we needed, really. And ultimately, it's a results business. So it's probably been a long time coming. And, you can go back to the Russell Martin era, and there's an argument whether it's like, do you want to watch better football or do you want to get better results? Because that is what the argument is ultimately. And it's a big debate to have. And I'll never win it, to be honest, with a lot of fans. But yeah. Because I say Steve Cooper's our best manager, but if you say that, you get like chased out of Swansea sometimes.
I was going to say the man who loves himself, so much, Mr. Russell Martin, obviously no longer with Southampton. Has there been a clamour to see the return of the bearded chocolate person who'd eat himself?
Every single time there's a sniff of a managerial change, like several times during this bad run when after Russell Martin first of all, when he got sacked, Russell Martin now, first of all, when he got sacked, there was a clamour for it all over social media. And then obviously going towards the end of Luke Williams' time, towards that sacking. And then when you see the bookies releasing their markets and he's like third or second on the list originally, everyone's just getting excited online. And you just see like, oh, it couldn't happen, or it couldn't be the return. And then just like gifs or pictures of him or like all this like memory lane stuff. And it's like, he literally finished 10th and 12th or something in his 2 seasons. But I don't understand. Look, it was nice to watch sometimes in the periods where it went well, but there was also like a run of 24 games where he won 3, and that was in the second season before ending the season with, I think it was 7 wins on 9, which kind of recency bias got him the Southampton job probably. But the 24 games before that, he won 3, and it's like, it's just more the same that we had with Luke. It's the same thing. It didn't bring success. It just brought nice football sometimes. But on the bad days, and you had like 0 shots on target for 4 or 5 games in a row, like people seem to forget those days. But yeah, it wasn't for me.
Oh well. So under Mr. Sheehan though, a bit more of a pragmatic approach. Here's the team set up against Middlesbrough and a win that you got there. I see Cullen is still your top scorer, somebody who caused us some problems earlier on in the season as well. Is this what you would expect to see in terms of the lineup? So I mean, it's a 4-2-3-1 according to Transfer Market, but it's not always accurate.
Yeah, that is the formation. That would be the starting lineup normally, because it's a midweek game. I'm not sure whether he might do a little bit of rotation. So trying to think of names that might potentially look at coming in. He hasn't done as much really as what Luke Williams was doing, but obviously it's only a 3-game sample to really look at. Yeah. Normally, throughout the rest of the season, we would see one of the wing backs rotated for the midweek game when it's quite a busy schedule. So Norton will probably start for Key or Timon, for example. I know Darlin is probably going to be injured for this game. He went off in the last one. He's still being assessed, so it's I can't guarantee that, but I'd be surprised if he starts. So you'll see Delcroix come in, I'd imagine, on the left, though, and Cabango will be on the right, because Delcroix is a left-footed centre-back.
Right.
Franco, historically, this season would drop out because he's one of those midfielders that runs himself into the ground, who struggles to do 3 in a week, and he also struggles to do 90 minutes, but he's been doing 90 minutes since Sheehan's come in, so another thing that wasn't happening before but is now. So either Felton or Allen, if he does get swapped out, I mean, he might just want to play his strongest team, which is those 2 in midfield then. And then up top, Ollie Cooper maybe is a name that could come in for any of the 3 behind the striker, really. I'm not sure which. Eon probably is the one that might drop out more likely. Ronald seems to start every game, and Cullen, I'd imagine, will be fine to start as well. But then Cooper is a 10, so maybe Cullen would be the one to drop out. But as you said, he's top goal scorer, so difficult one. And Vipotnik up front, if he's going to change, might be Bianchini coming in, but he hasn't started a game under Sheehan yet, so it's difficult to say. If it's Luke Williams, I would expect to see a few more changes, but we don't know under Sheehan really.
Yeah. It does. I know it's a small amount, but they're wide right up front. It's what a difference an O makes. Ronaldo and Ronald. I don't know what. Maybe it's just me.
When he scores, he tries to pretend he is Ronaldo. To be fair,
I'm surprised he's not like squad number 0.
If he scores now in this match, everyone probably be like, "What's he doing when he celebrates?"
Good stuff. Good stuff.
That's what he does.
Well, before we move on to predictions and the like, just want to get your take on this. And it's been something we've been doing in the second half of the season. And I want to know about your loan players, because everybody's allowed now to have 5 loan players, except Watford, who kind of announced that they're actually signed permanently 6 months after. Don't worry, in joke, don't worry about that. But you have 3 loan players. And I want to know, if we gave you the ability to sign any one of those up on a permanent deal, regardless of finances, who would it be and why? You got Lewis O'Brien from Forest Green. You mentioned there Delquois from Burnley, and Pert Harris from Brentford. You can sign anyone up permanently. Which one and why?
To be honest, I would keep all 3, but if I had to pick one,
that's just greedy.
Yeah, I know. O'Brien probably, because obviously losing Mac Rhymes is a massive hole there in midfield. Now he's not the same sort of player, and I would have loved to have seen them playing together. But he has come into midfield and done well, filling that hole in regards to not doing the same job, but doing a job in midfield that's working for the team. Because, we've had Grimes now since we got relegated to the Championship, and it was just weird seeing us playing without him there. Like, I don't know how a Swansea without Grimes looked. Everyone, and the first few games, it didn't look good. I'll be honest, it didn't. I was a bit worried, to be honest, going forward, and the inability to replace him in January, it was a concern. But I guess O'Brien's come in and done his own thing, but shown he's a quality player as well. And I think he would do really well if we managed to keep him longer term. I can't see that happening. I think if the finances involved will be too much, but I would love to sign him permanently if we had the opportunity to.
Are you a bit more combative in the central midfield area than with his addition? I'm not saying that because you know how much I like Matt Grant. Yeah. I mean, I think he's a tremendous player, but he's a very cultured, can sit and he's just very cultured. How would you describe the central midfield partnership then of Franco and O'Brien at the moment?
Yeah, I think the midfield is probably a little bit more combative, like you said, and probably a little bit more direct than with Grimes, which I'm not saying that's positive or negative. It's just a different way of playing football. Grimes, he gets a lot of stick, and if you a lot of the Swans fan, like they weren't happy with the way that it went down, the way that he ended up going. I'm a bit less frustrated. I'm obviously frustrated by him going, but not necessarily at the player, but a lot of it has been at the player from a lot of areas. So you'll see a lot of Swansea fans now saying they don't care because all he did was pass sideways and backwards, and how we're better off and all that without him and all this. And look, he did do that a lot because that's what he was being asked to do, because that's what we were being set up to do. That's the way Swansea were being told to play football, and he was the instrument in it, the one that was recycling the ball everywhere and playing the ball everywhere and receiving the ball everywhere. And that's what he did. That was his job. But he was also, as well as doing that and getting, I don't know, over 100 touches a game or whatever he was doing, having the most progressive passes at the same time. So yeah, okay, he was passing sideways and backwards a lot, because in this style of football, you spread the other team around to try and make the gaps. That's the whole point. Mm-hmm. But then when a gap came, he had the ability to go through the gap, hence why he's leading those stats in the league for the last 3 or 4 years, where he's constantly at the top of progressive passes. So yeah, that's gone now. O'Brien he's got the ability, I think, maybe to run at players more, run with the ball a bit more, be a little bit more direct, and in higher areas of the pitch as well, which I'm not saying Grimes couldn't do that, but I think over the years he coached out into more of a deeper lying playmaker, isn't he? So like that's where his strengths have been for the recent seasons anyway. It's just a different way of play. I think Lewis O'Brien would have been a good player in the Steve Cooper era, for example. I think that would have been suited to the way that Cooper was playing football down here. Maybe alongside Grimes. Like, I guess Conor Horahan was here at the time, and perhaps quite similar to him.
Good, very good, very good. Well, there's a lot to look out for when we come to Wednesday, so I think we better get on to.
It's the DNSYE Completely Rubbish Prediction League.
No! God, please, no! No!
Yes. It's back. We're still here doing it. We're still here doing it.
Away. It never went away, Peter.
Yes. Despite public apathy and calls to cancel this rubbish, we're still doing it nonetheless. What can I say? Watford, we lost by a single goal margin. The EFL picked up 2 points. Nobody else got a move because nobody was predicting that we were going to get beaten last week. Goes to show what we all know, and the fact that Millwall came and did a job on us. Gits, what can we say? Anyway, so we need to turn, therefore, and see what's going to happen on Wednesday, because everybody else is playing catch-up. Well, And as you know, we have Jarvis Cocker Spaniel, and we also have John rolling dice all over the place. This is, I believe, John's last edition from the collection that was done for the Luton half time, where he got around all over the place and was basically just asking people to roll dice like crazy. Now here, he approaches John and he approaches Bob. It's very loud, as John normally does. Just see whether or not you think whether or not Bob is having any of this. I suspect not.
Predictions, please! And it's Watford v Swansea! And it's loud because we're in the Luton game! Who's going to win today? Watford, come on! Yeah. Okay. And I'm here with John, and I'm here with Bob. Okay? And against, this is just for you, Justin, especially. So we're going to roll first. John's going to roll for Watford. Roll those dice. They're doing the team line as we speak. Oh. And it's 3 minus 2. It's 1 to Watford. Rollers in a second. Pick them up. And for Swansea, roll those dice. Bob, roll the dice now. Oh, and it's 4 minus 1 is 3. So the prediction is Watford 1. Sorry, Bob, you're right. Swansea 3. Sorry, guys. But let's do it today, yeah? Come on. Cheers.
Bob was definitely 2 or 3 pints deep there.
I think Bob put his hip out. Now, I've never seen so much apathy towards this as that. That was, you want us to do what? Sorry.
Yeah, what?
I think Bob's the first sane person to come up against John, because everybody else is like, yeah, I'll do this. John, Bob was giving you the proper skunk eye, wasn't he? He was like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Anyway, he's gone 3. They've gone combined. They've gone 3-1. I think they were just high as a kite because we were 2-0 up against Luton, because we've beaten Luton this season as well, not just Swansea. There you go. So 3-1 to Swansea there, doing well for the Swans straight away. We turn to the dog and find out what on earth he's up to this time. Here he is. It's Jarvis.
It's Watford Millwall, but we've got a prediction to do for Wednesday night against Swansea City. How many goals? 4 goals for Watford. Okay, and Swansea City 3. 4-3. 4-3. Thank you.
Well, there you go.
A bit more enthusiasm from the dog there.
That was a lot of
I'm sure he kept barking after 3. I feel like that's more than 3.
Well, we have to go with him adjudicating, I'm afraid, Luke.
You'll soon learn, Luke, that we make it up as we go along.
No. Jarvis is nothing if not barking in every sense. That's fine. So we've got Kieran Maguire still top of the table by a single point from Carl, but with less head injuries. Kieran obviously goes for 2-1. Jarvis Cocker has gone 4-3 to Watford. John's backgammon set, and the wonderful Bob, who I think will need to get back again because that was great. 3-1 to the Swans. We turn to the EFL, who did pick up 2 points at the weekend, maybe driving you away from the bottom of the table. Luke, sir, you know what to do. What do you think the score is going to be Wednesday night when the Swans visit the Hornets?
Are you still good at home these days? You've fallen off a little bit, haven't you?
We were until Saturday.
Yes, we've lost 6 of the last 7 at home, but other than that, it's been tremendous.
Okay.
Let's have a look at this, actually. Here is our last 15 games. We've lost 9, we've drawn 3, we've won 3. It's not great. The home record in the top table there says 6 defeats. 7 games ago, there were none in there. So, yeah, it's all gone a little bit peak.
Yeah, because early season, you were doing really well at home, weren't you? That's what I was wondering. But, okay, fair enough. I'm going to say 1-1.
Oh, you can't go 1-1. 1-1 is its own result. And Justin remembers the heady days when he could just go, oh, fuck it, 1-1. We don't allow you to do that anymore. 1-1's not on the table. You can go.
Okay.
You can go 2-2. You can go 0-0. It's your choice, but not 1-1.
I will say, okay, I'll go 2-2 then. Go for 2-2.
Desmond,
everybody.
Desmond.
I have no idea why I like Desmond so much, but I simply do.
Interestingly, just looking at the odds here, a 2-2 is 15 on Bet365. We're not sponsored by them, by the way. It's just the first one I could open. 4-3
attempt to go on a cash from this rubbish.
Yeah,
no,
I was going to say, yeah.
4-3 is 126. Might be worth having a pound on that, eh? And 1-1 is 6. It's the lowest, so it's going to be 1-1. And none of us, we can't pick it because it's, you know.
And that's
What's the matter with 1-1 again? Sorry, I didn't quite.
Well, what happened in the first series of this nonsense?
Okay.
I just kept saying 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, and I was going up and up and up and up and up, and I was at the top of the table to the very end, and then Cole snatched it from me on the final game of the season.
Been banned.
You will see that 1-1 is in its own category. At the moment, Justin is pleasingly sandwiched between just going 1-1 randomly and a dog barking. And Justin's right in the middle of that battle.
Whatever Justin's tactic is, 1-1 or picking a score, he's got the same points.
This is true.
Yes.
You see,
This-
so
and
scientifically,
that's very important. What you
we've scientifically proven it's a lot of nonsense. But anyway,
Justin, on a football prediction DNA level, is part dog. Let's turn to that man and say,
oh, is it mine?
Justin, what do you think the score's going to be?
Well, I'm going to have a quick look at the odds here, Peter. I'm going to go.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
Well, look, listen, I've tried picking numbers out of the air. I've tried doing a Kieran Maguire.
So now you're going on a betting website, just picking.
Well, I'm going to have to. I last time I nicked your idea of doing a Kieran 2-1. I was thinking, well, Carl's up there with Kieran. He keeps picking Kieran's score, but then that backfired on me massively. So I'm going to go 1-0 or 1-0. Yeah, let's go 1-0 Swansea. I'm going to spoil everybody's fun.
I'd be quite happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't see who's going to score our goals. Because
I can't see where I'd get 2 goals from either, to be honest. I don't know why I've said it.
Well, there we go. Carlos, we turn to you as the leading human available currently, last to predict.
Yes.
What do you think the scores are going to be?
If I could have gone 1-1, I would have, but I can't. So
well, we all done, Cole. We all
yeah, no, I'll go for. I think we're going to. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I'll go 2-1 to Watford.
Who's going to score these goals, Carlos? Who's going to score these goals?
Doumbia is going to get his first goal.
Is he not injured? Is he not injured?
Oh, is he injured? I don't know.
Is
I've
injured.
been unconscious for a couple of hours after the game. So.
Yeah. Let me fill you in. He's injured. So
he's injured. Okay.
Do you revise your score now, or are you happy to carry on?
Yeah, please. Can I go 2-1 Swansea?
Well, there is the rule, which is I do have to accept your first.
You did. No, I'll go 2-1 Watford. I'll go 2-1 Watford.
Yeah, unfortunately, immediately before Oblivion welcomed you in its warm embrace on match day after Millwall had departed, unfortunately, Vacuum Bio came on and it announced that it was his 100th appearance for Watford. And Justin got very busy on the old social media.
Yeah.
And he tweeted that things that seem completely unbelievable but are true. Giraffes are 30 times more likely to get hit by lightning than people. Identical twins don't have the same fingerprints. And Vacuum Bio has made 100 appearances for Watford FC. There you go. Yeah, it looks like Doumbia is out, I'm afraid. So
is that big news then?
Oh. Not really. It's just that we're replacing a striker that looked quite good, who had to come in for Bio because he was banned for a few matches for a red card. Is now injured, and Bio's back, and he's just possibly the worst striker I've seen.
Yeah, he came on and pretty much changed the game in a negative way for Watford.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Anyway, let's get on to the score lines that we've got. We have got 2-1 to Watford, says both Kieran Maguire and Carl. So top of the table is going to stick as it was, and come what may. Jarvis Cocker has gone 4-3 to Watford. John and John and Bob, I mean, a threesome made in heaven, have gone 3-1 to the Swans. Luke himself has gone 2-2 for a Desmond, very pleasingly. And Justin, in his normal morose fashion, has predicted Watford to lose yet again and has not scored a goal. It's 1-0. So, and of course, 1-1 has gone 1-1, as 1-1 tends to do. So there you go. So whatever happens, points will be awarded. Now, we come to a section that I don't think Luke has seen before. And I also think that he's probably not in the best of health to deal with this sort of nonsense. That's probably a good thing. We come to, let's have a look. What are we going to do?
Carl's amazing world of fact and fiction.
Carlos,
It's that
over
time.
to you. You need to explain to Luke what he's going to experience, that it's not a fever dream.
Well, firstly, you're probably going to experience not a lot, Luke. That's the positive. But I've got 7 questions for you, Swansea based. Could be, there's a smidging of football in there, but the city of Swansea. What I'm telling you, is it fact or is it fiction? That's it.
No pressure then that I need to know this stuff. Yeah.
No, exactly. No, it's nice and easy. So,
Okay.
number 1 is, whenever comedian and actor Rob Brydon is in the city, he's a regular customer of the Oldie Cross Keys, located on St Mary Street in the city. Is that fact or fiction?
I actually don't know the answer, but I'm going to guess it's fact because it's like the oldest pub in Swansea, I believe. So I'm going to.
It is
going
the
to
oldest
assume
pub.
that is fact.
It is the oldest pub in the Swansea, but I made it up. It's fiction.
Okay, there we go.
You see, this is the kind of thing he does. He's got a very deviant mind.
I would never even think to go find that information out, to be fair. So I don't know how you go and get to that avenue of thinking.
That's the art of this section.
I've never seen him in Swansea, so I wouldn't know where he hangs out. Probably not the same place as I hang out, clearly.
Right, we'll move on to number 2. But I think my image might disappear because I'm reading from one.
It keeps disappearing. You do it.
Okay, but I am here. Don't worry.
It's the level of planning we like.
Yes.
On
with the show.
Don't worry, it's fine.
On with the show. There's a picture of me drinking beer in New York. That's much better. The phrase Swansea Jack comes from a dog called Jack who saved 27 people from drowning in the river during the 7 years of his life from 1930 to 1937. Is that fact or fiction?
Yeah, it does come from a dog who famously saved people from drowning, yeah.
It is fact. Yep, well done, Luke.
How many people in Swansea are throwing themselves into the river? I mean, that seems
a Welsh for you, isn't it?
It seems like
I mean, look, it's regular. No, we chase the Cardiff fans into the sea.
When they
so
go
it's something that we need to be quite well versed in is swimming.
Yeah.
So that, you know,
it's a different world, isn't it? It really is.
It is a different world, right? This is an excellent one. This one, number 3, footballer John Hartson, was convicted of shoplifting in the city of Swansea at the age of 14. Is it fact or fiction?
I can't say I've brushed up on my John Hartson childhood history, but it probably wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. But I'm going to say fiction on that one.
Ah, you've only gone and done it. Yeah, it is fiction. I made it up because he played for Luton. I just thought it accused him of robbery.
I was like, I don't know. Should I fall for this? I was like, I got to say
no. You've done the right thing there. You're starting to see through this.
I have seen him walk into Swansea once, so as opposed to Rob Brydon. So he does talk about the area sometimes.
Oh, there you go. See, right. Moving on. Swansea has been recently named as the cleanest city in Wales, and it's the second cleanest city in the whole of the UK. Is that fact or fiction?
I'd be surprised if it is fact, I'll be honest. So I'm going to say fiction.
It is fact.
Wow.
It was named.
That's one of them where I'll chuck that on Facebook now, and I'm sure I'll get everyone complaining in the comments.
As you should. That's what I demand. I demand people complaining about this section.
I mean, they haven't shouted about it, to be fair. They haven't. I haven't seen that anywhere. But fair enough. There we are, living, it's nice, clean down here. Come visit.
Come and visit Swansea. It's clean, yeah.
It's nice and clean. That's got to be the head of the tourist board. Come to Swansea.
Exactly.
It's nice
and clean.
We've got lots of potholes, but it's clean.
Yeah. Based on that, in 2004, the Met Office named Swansea as Britain's wettest city. Is that fact or fiction?
I would say fact. They're also St. David's. I feel like I've heard this before.
Fact. Correct. Yeah. It is fact.
Oh, he's doing well.
He's doing very well.
I'm impressed with this.
Yeah.
Wettest city. If only John Hartson could
It
steal.
rains all the time down here.
This is true. It has occurred to me, by the way, that this doesn't mean that John Hartson is off. It just basically means he was a competent thief who was never caught. I think that's probably the most.
Yeah, that's what I took from that.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay, couple left. So number 6 is Swansea City, played at the Vetchfield Stadium from 1910 until 2006, when they moved to the Liberty Stadium. Is it fact or fiction?
They did move in 2006. I can't quite remember the beginning, but I'm going to say fact.
It is fiction. And the only reason it's fiction
I twisted the years just to call me out.
I've moved the years, yeah.
Small print.
What a bastard.
Small print alert. There you go.
Right, and then
twisted.
And then, twisted.
I had an inkling, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Do you know when you just chuck a year out like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Can't remember.
Finally, criminal damage and arson makes up 11% of all the crimes committed in Swansea. Is that fact or fiction?
I feel like 11% is too low. I'll say fact, but I feel like it could easily be fiction because it could be a higher amount. Like there was some riots a couple of years ago that made the news, and that was all arson and criminal damage. So I mean,
probably where I picked this one from. It is, well, believe it or not, it is fiction. And the only reason
I mean, I feel like I should get half a point for that.
It's 8.6% of all crimes.
That's lower. Okay.
It's low. Yeah, there you go. And that is the end.
I don't know if it's low, just lower.
Normally when we do this, Carl, basically the last question is always around the level of violent crime in various different places. Did you go for that, or did you just decide to vary particular description?
I did look at the violent crime statistic in Swansea. It's quite high, so I left it alone.
But look, it's fine because it's clean.
Exactly. Yeah. Your blood will be washed away by all of the rain, which keeps it clean. Exactly that. Yeah, fantastic.
It doesn't matter because they'll make a clean getaway. Tish.
I think your questions are enough to get people cancelled with some of them questions.
Yeah.
Like the Vetchfield one, it's like, he's setting me up here. So that's got to be clipped out. No, I'm joking.
It's okay. It's okay. You know more about Swansea than we do, mate. Goodness me.
Yeah, I had an inkling. I should have stuck to my gut.
Nah. Always a good thing to say. Just obviously, we haven't got our everybody on from Twitter today because Twitter is having an absolute meltdown. But a couple of comments. Woodgie was talking about Bio has scored more goals in less games for Watford than Andre Gray. There you go. Well,
I hate them both. I hate that both with a passion.
There is damning with faint praise. Let's just have a look at Vacuum Bio's Watford statistics because he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He scored in 21 goals in 100 games, only 4 assists, which isn't very many. And he's had out of that 5,524 minutes, and that works out to a goal every 263 minutes that he plays. Not so. Whilst it's kind of a lot fewer, and he's only scored those 21 goals, as you would know, anybody who saw Sheffield Wednesday, he's only scored in 16 games. That means 84 games he's played. He has not troubled the score sheet statisticians in any way, shape, or form.
It's the eye test as well, though. You just watch him running about, pointing with his hands on his hips, and so you just get on with it. Can't stand the bloke. Hopefully, he's going back to Udinese at the end of the season. There, end of my rant.
Well, he will be.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, but no, look, we'll go. Let's give him another season. Yeah,
we'll sign him permanently.
No.
Well, that's the forward that you'll be having playing against you. And just to answer Justin's questions for who's going to score the goals, well, the Watford Observer, Andrew French, has got an article in there where he's spoken to Tom Cleverley talking about the fact that, well, this is what you get going with 2 strikers. And anybody knows we kind of asked about that when we got to talk to Clevs and to Scott Duxbury at the close of the transfer window. Who are the other options are the questions. So basically, if you look at the under-21s, those most likely maybe to pop up. Toby Adeyemo, everybody knows from a couple of years ago when he scored that goal on the 72nd minute against Blackpool. But he's been out, he's been injured. He was away on loan for a period with Wealdstone last season, but didn't make it. He's had that ongoing issue. Michael Adupoku, who's more of a right winger typically, but he's had a great loan spell at Solihull that was brought to an end at the end of the transfer window, presumably making sure he was in the building. A name not everybody will have come across, Jonathan Lawson, has been doing good kind of regular goals and appearances for the under-21s. And then in the FA Youth Cup, which we're obviously now into the semi-final of, Nixon Ockerson, who was signed from the Republic of Ireland, and he's still very young, but has done, and he's mentioned in that Watford Observer article. So go over there and have a butchers at that. So we'll see what happens. But the bench will be very, very young. So quite where the goals come from, who knows? Who knows indeed.
Yes. What's this comment here? This is quite interesting. What's this? Remember Chad Valley football game? I'm not familiar with that. Where metal men stood on the board and just kicked out to score and pass. I give you Bayo and Sissoko as international standard Chad Valley players. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing as well. Sissoko on the right, without getting too technical into sort of Watford tactics and things, but just at the moment, you look at it and you go, well, where are the goals going to come from? It's just.
I thought that first half performance against Millwall was actually half.
That was all right. That was
Coming in at half time, I thought that we could go on and win this comfortably. But I just don't know what happened in the second half. Honestly, very odd indeed. Millwall found us out, and we got punished there, unfortunately.
Yeah. So these games that we play against you, Luke, always seem to be midweek, don't they? I can't remember the last time we played on a Saturday.
It's regular, isn't it? It's this regular that we just have midweek showdowns, but I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's like not the most difficult to travel.
Well, it's not the most difficult.
I think the last one I remember
for Swansea, like everyone's
when
quite
we were both in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Saturday.
Would that be the one where there was a gloating into the net? Oh,
Richarlison scored late on, didn't he?
Yeah, to make it 2-1.
Yeah, I think that was the last time I've been to Swansea on a Saturday. There may have been other games, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I take it you're not struggling down on Wednesday, Luke.
I was looking at it, but I'm not really. No, I can't make it happen this time. We got to try and book time off normally for it, so I pitched it to the lads a couple of weeks ago, but it wasn't viable for everyone, so we're not going to this one. It's just hard midweek, isn't it? Like I'm all right because I work retail, so I can try and ask for days off in the week and stuff because I kind of just work 5 days, doesn't have any structure. Whereas the other lads have got Monday to Friday jobs, so it's always a task trying to convince them to go midweek. But there we go. I find it harder to go on the weekend a lot of the time because they don't like giving us Saturdays off.
No, blimey. Right. Well, listen, I think we're probably time to let you go. And thank you very much for coming on. As obviously you've not been very well this week, so it's very good of you to make the effort to come on. We will be back after the game on Wednesday, late night one for you, Peter, on the late night spaces. Probably see some of you before the game, and we'll catch up with you soon. Until we're next together, you-ons.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, everybody.
No, thank you as always. And I was going to do a video, obviously, but appreciate you being able to stick around, but I'm going to pass it this time. So I'll have to catch you next time. But look forward to it. And I'll see you again soon, Justin, I guess. You
definitely will, mate. Definitely will. Yeah, no worries, mate. We'll catch you soon. Cheers.